Endpoint and Sprouts. Looking like a very weird sort of stance there again with the technical issues that we had, but we look like we're ready to go right now here, Dwight.
Yeah, well, hopefully being able to get a very exciting game on our hands. We're going to start off on Dust 2, and straight away we've seen Thomas with the dualies again, Jay. He's never seems to surprise us with these. He loves it.
He absolutely loves it, and how do you blame him? He's been very successful with this weapon over the past several matches that we've seen him play. Well over 100 maps from Endpoint at this stage in the last few months, so this may be a few more to add to the list here if his dualies can make things work on this pistol round start. Of course, Endpoint on the CT side for this one. Sprout out with the utility, storming long and getting that first kill. Dia there on towards Crucial. Surreal will also go down outside of the A bomb site. It looks like it's a 5 versus 3 to kick things off with a bomb plant to be secured. And how do Endpoint turn this around?
Oh, it's a really tough retake as well. And what they've even had is Speedy's locking down the longhouse. So they know it has to be either through CT or short from the CT side. So much information. Oh, that HG does so much damage. Endpoint trying to tap away, but really with them being too low and in a 2 versus 3, it's going to be even more difficult, Jay.
That is going to probably something out the round at this point indeed. Speedy and Snatchy combine to shut down the last couple of players there onto that short flank. And again, that's an opener for the Sprout T side. The scouts in on the Endpoint force by here. Getting straight in with as much as they can get out in this second round, but having been decimated by the sheer frag potential there of the Sprout side. It just looks so confident from their own right. Snatchy gets the first tag in against Robin. He's got a scout of his own right here for the T side by. Of course, one AK out for Dennis and the SMGs out for everybody else. Dia first default to the hands of Surreal. A lot of long control coming in this time from Endpoint.
Oh, Dennis, so much information out through mid. He's opened it up. They can just go straight into the B bomb site if they like. They've already taken the 2 mid defenders down. They can only assume that there has to be one more player at B at most. And here it is, mid to B split to come out, and they've even got a lurker out towards long as well. So at the moment, Sprout are in a really good position to try and take this B bomb site.
Deagles 4-3, and only one man to hold onto the B site. It's Mighty Max left alone here. He's going to have to turn his back around and eventually get spotted out by the UMP. And won't opt to go for this one. In fact, he may be opting for a save. Exit frags at the very least here outside of the upper tunnels. The other 2 players are well out of dodge. They're just going to hold on to their Kevlar, their helmets. And of course their Deagles are standard here for this one. Might catch off one flanker here. Farvin does tap on towards the head of Mighty Max and take him down immediately. So one exit frag denied, but all in all not much else coming in the post round. It will be Sprout up 2-0 as you would expect given the current buys.
And look, I mean, all in all for Endpoint, a little bit unfortunate there. I mean, Surreal gets a really nice Deagle shot out from long, but as soon as mid gets opened up, Sprout know immediately. They've got the information, they can just leave a lurker out from long, they can just split into the B bomb site. Utility usage has been really strong as well. And Endpoint really not finding too much on the force buy through the second round, which means it's going to be a very harsh eco indeed. Not too much being upgraded. And Sprout, no SMGs for the minute. Speedy just going to opt to go for a USP, not even going to upgrade anything.
Mac 10 forward of this one. Thomas, straight up and out, takes the man down. Dennis does get the opening kill. Farvin also follows suit against Thomas next. And the USP gets him out all the same. So the Galil picked up for this man. Let's see if he can make a work of the 3 versus 3. Had tried to bracket and sandwich them into that mid position on the Sprout side. So chance available as the CTs do back off from their short presence and going towards the main A side defensive. The nades and molotovs coming up. Again, damage being sustained right now. Speedy uses USP. Deagle's out from Surreal. Gets himself 2 frags. Got Snatchy as the last man standing. That headshot could be taken, but Snatchy takes him out now looking for Crucial as the last man. The Galil spots him looking for a headshot of his own right, and he's going to make it happen. And a brilliant round from Endpoint. Good shooting on the Deagles, and a brilliant aggressive force that Sprout was just not ready for.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe Endpoint. They lose the force by anti-eco, but they win that. That's just insane. What a round to win for Endpoint. And for Sprout, they will be able to get a buy straight back in, but that was a big surprise to actually see Endpoint being able to get successful. I mean, you can understand a couple of kills here and there, but to be able to get a round victory is a great start from them, but a better start from Snatchy with the AWP.
Straight peek into that mid position, a brilliant start as you mentioned from the Sprout side. Not quite the mid doors shot, or that down center mid doors area, but although on Xbox taking that opening frag and taking a pretty crucial man out of the play, excuse the pun. Obviously you highlighted him in the pre-game being as the guy that needs to step up if Endpoint want to have a hope in hell of beating Sprout. Any opening frags they can find against him would be brilliant. Dennis also following up on towards Thomas, another highlight player for this side. A simple headshot against him is going to force a safe call already. They haven't even made their way onto the bomb site, but they're backing up towards B, and they're just going to concede this one.
That's one of the really sort of unusual things with Dust 2. It's one of the only maps that before the bombers even cross to the bomb site, you can just see an instant save. Endpoint, they're in a 3-on-5. There's no chance of even them thinking about going for this, and especially being out-positioned as well. They can potentially look for a couple of exit kills if Sprout over-aggress and try and hunt towards that B bomb site. But a great response to come out from Sprout. They're going to be able to find their third. Now, at least if there are 3 players staying alive, we should see, no doubt about it, the force buy investment to come through for Endpoint. Yeah,
absolutely. With this extra pieces of equipment, the weapons in particular. Loss bonus obviously will be a little bit tagged up and hurt from the Endpoint side, but as you mentioned, just with this extra little standing crutch, you should be given enough to justify it, especially with Robin having buy potential and drop potential here. Pass off an M4 if you wanted to the likes of like Thomas or Crucial, and then just leave it be. Just that AWP over towards him so he can buy an M4 of his own right. And that's exactly what he'll do. So they will get 4 rifles out for the Endpoint CT side. And obviously in such a difficult retake situation, thinking about the long game, Endpoint definitely have that much down pat for the CT defensive, but these opening picks have been lost on a consistent basis. Snatchy and Dennis making their way into advanced angles on the A and B bomb site, and Dennis not quite catching off Surreal as a knife out on the cross. Does get the info out, but that pretty much is a given that there's going to be CTs on the B bomb site anyway.
It's actually quite an interesting setup coming out from Sprout. So they have a single lurker over towards the upper tunnels, but really, they don't really have too much map presence at the moment. Slowly, they're going to group up together in the upper tunnels. There's an AWP player, Snatchy, that's holding down the suicide line. So at the moment, no real mid establishment to come out. It is going to be a little bit slower from Sprout in taking the map control, as finally they start to look into lowers, boosting a player up as well to look into the short position. And one thing that Sprout can do a very good job of, especially in this round, Jay, is trying to bait out a lot of the utility from Endpoint. If they can try and get rid of all them smokes and as many flashes as possible, it's going to help them once the execution comes through.
50 seconds to the clock. They're going to make their way in eventually. Sprout. 2 players out into the longhouse, backed up by 2 more eventually. They've got quite a player up here. I mean, Thomas is ready and waiting to receive them already in the pit position, and they're checking it already. Like, Dian knows that this player plays here so much, and he's going to exploit it. That's the second time they peeked around against him there on that longhouse pit. The second time he's faced and fallen for his trouble. 24 seconds, Endpoint. 2 players still here to the A side defensive. 1 player making his way in from short. Might bracket them in. Crucial will go falling in the end, but the main T side forces will catch off Robin as he swings on towards the short player. Loses life for his trouble, and Endpoint are back down to the save once again. It's a 4th for the Sprout squad, and Endpoint. Unfortunately, I think they're starting to feel the hurt of that this map pick.
Yeah, I was just going to make that point. I tell you what, Sprout are looking pretty drilled at the moment on the T side. I mean, what we saw from them in that last round took map control so slowly. Now, Thomas is playing in the pit position, but there's no way of a trade. And I don't know whether that kind of comes down to a mispositioning coming out from Endpoint. A lot of the time, if you're playing pit, you'd like to have someone either playing car on the long corner to try and crossfire, but Endpoint, they keep 2 players at the A bomb site, and as soon as Thomas goes down, there's no way of being able to find the trade frag. So Sprout, they get an opening pick, cross smokes coming out. The Molotov onto site was perfect. First of all, tried to split the 2 CTs that were holding the site and do some damage as well. Utility usage from Sprout has been excellent so far, and the economy game from Endpoint, it's been in shatters since the word go.
Yeah, no real opportunity to build on the economy. The loss bonus has not quite set itself at this early stage in the game. It probably will start to set itself now. Where are they at? Yeah, about to approach max on this board. So enough money that they should be able to get a buy-in, a half buy after that, and then a full buy after the fact. So that's probably 7 rounds before Endpoint have a decent economy state to work with. Just in terms of loss bonus alone, like, you know, obviously they could potentially win the round right here and potentially bolster into a decent buy, but just focusing on the wrong areas at the wrong times. They're pushing up short when the T's are making their way in from long. Good deagle from Robin gets one, a tag up on Farben as well, but again, they've taken out Thomas for the entry frag of the T side. Crucial on bomb side. PT50 is close here against Dia. Dia takes out Robin. Good shot back, sees a player in the back lines, but Snatchy with the AWP has the range game and the shot advantage. 3-on-2 situation favour to the Sprout side. Mighty Max may end up falling. Actually does get Farben, but Surreal falls in trade, and it's just 7 HP for this lone man here on short, and I don't feel like he'll be able to get much done. He might find Spitty. No, transfer it back. It's 2 kills to his name, and a 5th for Sprout.
5 and 1 going out for the German core. Endpoint. I don't think it's time yet for a tactical pause, but I tell you what, if they lose this following round, it might be an opportunity just to slow things down, talk things over, and see if they can kind of climb their way back into this CT half. AWP back onto Crucial. Got no utility at the moment. And I tell you what, we haven't really seen any B presence coming out from Sprout so far, but look at the aggression out from long. Mighty Max, he can't even get into the pit position.
Crucial will be able to respond, but just look at how easily Sprout are able to take control of this longhouse and pit position. Thomas is left alone here towards Car, and now playing the passive and scared angle rather than the advanced sort of flank position on that on that pit. Got a player also there on the CT spawn entrance. Thomas will wrap up, take up a frag, get a second as well, dropping that bomb most crucially, and turn the man advantage for the CT favour.
A big hold coming out from Thomas. He's done a lot so far, and he picks up the AWP to find a third. And Sprout, I'm really surprised they don't even molly or check that car position. It's almost as if they had no idea or even just a feeling that there was a player that was holding that angle. Thomas in the end finding 4 kills in the round, and honestly, an individual that steps up to win Endpoint's second round, Jay.
There we go, finally something back on the ball for the CT side. Halt Sprout before they get there, but the double orb setup coming out immediately from Surreal and Crucial, and we've seen this a couple of different times on different maps. Like, we see it oftentimes not played on maps where it should be very effective. It's for that reason I'm slightly concerned about how Endpoint are going to approach this. Already they have lost Crucial to that mid position, so it's all left to Surreal on the A bomb side. They're looking like they're going to go for a mid to B split, so they could cut off Robin, easily converging against Mighty Max, and look at Robin's positioning there. Both players, him and Dennis, trading HP down to the single digits, and that actually favours Sprout more than anything else here.
I tell you what, if they split into B, then I think this round's pretty much over. Endpoint, they only have a single player at B of Mighty Max with the AWP. And 2 players around the CT position. Dennis going to pick up the AWP just on 1 point of health. And Robin incredibly low as well. We're going to regroup over at B, so this is a good adjustment to come out from Endpoint.
Well, under a minute to go right this moment. The AWP of Dennis watching up the top end of the short position. The AK is also going to get swapped to by Mighty Max here. And Sprout running out of time to actually make the commitment here. I mean, their map control hasn't really moved between that mid position or anything. They've got a little bit of a lower control in the tunnels, and now will start to push their way into the short position, flashing out towards mid. Going to try to sell them on the idea of another mid to be played, but they've got Surreal watching out with his AWP there on the car position. Going to have to get backed up by Thomas eventually as the flashes go over. The smokes try and buy them a bit of breathing room on the T side. Backed out position. Surreal close range against Spitty. Good flick in against the man, but through the smoke, Dia will get him down with a wall bang. So the bomb plant will be secured. Another 4-on-3 situation. Endpoint a bit more susceptible to a retake here. I think they want to go for it, Dwayne, but they are being very passive and patient about this. In the end, they decide they're going to fall away.
Yeah, they're out of there. I mean, if Robin was full HP, you can understand it. You can certainly understand that 3v4, it's doable. I mean, one thing to add to the equation is they got no utility, so it makes that retake even more difficult if they did end up deciding to go for it. And Sprout, I tell you what, I mean, that was a nice execution going out to the A bomb site. Great utility usage. We end up seeing Surreal getting an AWP pick, but it's traded so quickly. Now, one thing I suppose you can kind of mention in the hold coming out from Endpoint on that A bomb side is it was only Surreal at 8. There was a player out towards long, but Surreal, he wasn't even really at the A bomb site. He was around that car position, and Sprout, they've been able to use a little bit of utility out through mid. They go up through short, they execute through. And the crossfires and the utility strong enough to be able to close out a 6th. And I tell you what, Sprout looking pretty good so far in the early stages of Dust 2.
Ooh.
Again, twice so far today.
Do you know what? I'm just like, yeah.
Ooh,
Dennis straight out. Gonna punish Thomas for his entry attempt. In the end, the T side just get better advantages every single time. And Endpoint are forced to trade back once again here. Off the back of that save, the AWP stays in. Thomas is out. Crucial does get a pick with that AWP. And Surreal keeps it a 3 versus 3 as they do manage to maintain that longhouse control.
Out mid, though.
Indeed they have. They've left that position completely undefended. They can walk in from mid to B on the B bomb side. They've only got Mighty Max to contend against them, and he's not even defending the side directly.
Oh, okay, they know. They know now. Surreal's already pushed the longhouse. They know it has to be a mid to B play. Mighty Max, he's in a pretty decent position at the moment through the upper tunnels. An opportunity to line up two, but he only finds one.
The timing couldn't be better for that, but Mighty Max's spray didn't capitalize on the player walking in front of him. Father and Snatchy now. 2-on-2 situation. The AWP shot baited in by Surreal. He doesn't opt to swing and punish it. Instead, put a smoke down and try and buy him a bit of breathing room here. The Molotov on towards the back of Platform is going to move forward, head of that into open space. If you're going to fire through against Surreal, or at least hold back here in the midst of the smoke, the AWP are crucial. Looking forward here, looking out towards that car position, does not see the man, and they've walked right past the T side. Forces Surreal, gets Snatchy. Barvin swings in, gets one, and gets his second as well. For 3K overall for the man. Sprout will get to 7 on the T side, and I have a feeling that Endpoint are going to be at eco points at this moment.
I tell you what, that is such a good read from Sprout. So what happens, they show a little bit of presence out from the longhouse, and considering how many trades go the way of Endpoint, they go, right, they're playing a triple long setup, let's try and just walk through mid, and it works out beautifully. They get straight into the mid to B. Mighty Max may have had the opportunity of finding 2 kills, but it doesn't go their way. A 7th round for Sprout, and only 2 so far for Endpoint. Oh, tell you what, Dust 2... It just seems to be Sprout's map. I don't know. I'm really just not liking this map pick at the moment from Endpoint.
I mean, we talked about the issues, obviously, with Sprout being confident on Dust 2 and how Endpoint have, you know, they're very heavily relying on their experience and the countless Dust 2 maps that they've played so far in this one. Unfortunately, in this case, like, it just seems to be one of their biggest detriments. So I'm just taking a look at the veto and just, you know, it's clear that Sprout managed to get rid of one of their strong points. I mean, they couldn't have picked Vertigo in this case, but even so, Endpoint with this map pick, unfortunately, they're feeling the hurt of it. They've got to make the best of the bad situation. And on this half-buy round, they've got to do a little bit more than just die to the hands of AK. So they've got the Deagles out, facing up here to the back of Ramp, excuse me. Dia opening things up, opening up the A bomb sites. TTs are very close, but they're unable to get these picks as of right now. And Mighty Max will get 1 good kill, but Surreal and Crucial will end up falling. The bomb plant should get secured. 2v4, no way for this CT side.
Well, at least it's only being an eco round, so all in all, Mighty Max being able to get a kill on Dennis does pick himself up an AK, so I suppose maybe they don't find too much impact in terms of kills, but they do get an upgrade. It's going to be an 8th round for Sprout, and what looks to be quite a few more. And I'm looking at the money line, so it's max round loss bonus at the moment for Endpoint. You know what? I kind of want to see the double AWP setup coming out again. It hasn't been too successful, but I'm trying to think of the ways that they can shut down Sprout at the moment, and the double AWP setup is ringing bells for me.
A pause will be called. Endpoint with a tactical, and their first tactical of this series, and of this map, obviously. An appropriate time to do so as well here, Dweg, because it's not looked all that great. Endpoint really need to find a new way of approaching this, the CT side, because right now Sprout are just walking right through them at certain points. You know, again, all the entries are so well positioned and so well coordinated. Utility plays are on point. You know, crosshair placement is on point. There's nothing you can do, I feel like, if you're Endpoint. So now it's time to try and find some sort of crack or you know, chink in the armor. Try and exploit that to the best of your abilities, because right now they're down to 4 spies and heavy investments on these rifles. The money's bolstered for Sprout. And again, they're just kicking your asses every single 6 ways from Sunday, you know.
Well, at the moment, we saw a bit of a heavy investment coming out from Endpoint towards long. They brought 3 players there to try and contest it early on. It wasn't contested at all, so they give up on it. I mean, even Dennis, I mean, to be able to take down Surreal so low just from a spam in the upper tunnels. And that means that Surreal's certainly going to have to play a little bit more of a passive position over at B. And Sprout, one thing that we've certainly seen from them on their defaults is how slow they're taking map control and how much utility they've been able to hold on to as well.
Surreal, the first little bit of damage being done to him. Getting away alive at this moment, though. The crossfire set towards long, once again expecting the house position to be contested. Do isolate Thomas, take out Robin. Crucial does turn around a decent frag and a secondary kill as well. Ultimately, 3-on-2 scenario. The smoke's down, the flash is coming over from Dia. Molotov's down towards Goose. The bomb plant should get secured from here. And I don't think Endpoint are going to go for this retake. They are back out towards T-spawn. They're saving once again here.
Oh my goodness, I am getting very worried. I'm getting very worried indeed for Endpoint. This is completely fallen apart. There is no other way of putting it. Dust 2 has just not gone their way. They've tried adaptions, they've tried the double up setup, they've been trying to take long control, the mid establishment. I mean, even in that last round, they have to keep 2 players at B because Surreal's low. I mean, yes, they could have potentially left Mighty Max at B and rotated Surreal out through mid, but what Endpoint needs to do, especially with a low HP player, is they need to be crossfiring with each other, and they have to crossfire together on B, which means they've got no info out from mid, they've got a triple stack on the A-bomb side, but it's just a lack of information from Endpoint in that last round, and the execution comes through. The trades are fantastic out from the longhouse, and another pause. 9-2, Sprout. I mean, I don't want to say it looks too easy, but that's kind of what's happening at the moment, Jay.
No, that's the thing, right? You know, it looks easy for Sprout, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just because of the scoreline. Like, again, as I mentioned before, like, so many opportunities being opened up, and the fact that they're always reading where Endpoint are playing at, they're always taking those kills because of it in terms of the entries. Like, they could just walk out a long house and easily find Thomas or Crucial. Like, you know, that's the key thing about Sprout right now, and the reason why they're looking so good is because they're making it look so easy, and there's a good reason for that. They're the ones that called this tactical timeout here. I would have thought it would have been Endpoint off the back of that, but
that's interesting, actually.
They will save the AK and the AWP from that last round, so they have themselves some M4s also to work with on the Endpoint side. They do have another buyback here. Don't know what Sprout may have been talking about in that case. I mean, they won it with pretty decent confidence. I guess they were a bit miffed that they lost 2 players, perhaps. Even then, the economy's okay, so I don't think there's any real reason for Sprout to take a tactical, let alone even worry about anything at this stage.
Look at the player that's even walked out mid. We've already seen Dennis into this really cheeky position. Now, for Endpoint, they've got a pretty good read at the moment because they've got 3 players over at the B bomb site. The flash is going to come out. They should be able to trade out Dennis 1-for-1.
Mighty Max. Dead instead as the smoke goes down. Dennis is still waiting there. Crucial's attention is drawn to the players in mid as the nades come up and Dennis peeks forward to take a player down. Backs away from CT before the cross can get locked out by Robin. And they can take this bomb wherever they want to here. Very easy to go back to the B bomb site as Thomas falls towards A. They've got Surreal left alone here towards the B door. Snatcher gets that kill. And it looks like it will be a clean sweep round for Sprout unless Robin gets this 1 kill against D, even though he's not going to be able to win this round at all. And there it is. All 5 alive for Sprout. 10-2 on the T-side board.
Oh my goodness, and this is the semi-final as well. This has so much importance, right? I mean, the winner of this facing off against Heretics tomorrow, a best-of-5 final to get that qualifier spot for ESL 1 Cologne. I mean, this has so much importance on it, and at the moment, Endpoint are struggling massively. They're on yet another eco round, and Snatchy even getting a pick through the mid doors. Faffin just running out from long, and they're just getting picks just everywhere, literally everywhere on the map.
Endpoint forced probably back to save their Kevlar, their helmets, and these 2 scouts they have to work with. Not even catching the players on the cross at that smoke area. Good shot against Snatchy, but plant down. And a save call again from Endpoint. So many saves, and you know, I don't agree that you should be saving every single round in these matches, but at the same time, like, you know, what choice did Endpoint kind of have? They have just been ripped apart by Sprout every single time, and they have to just sort of focus those weapons into the next round and hope that you can find some sort of opportunity later, because this round is a loss. Like, there's no way they'll be able to make this happen. I mean, even then, D is getting aggressive. He's found himself 2 kills. No idea where Mighty Max is, but he's lurking in the midst of that smoke, and it will clear in a moment's time. So that should be another kill opportunity for D. Indeed, he does get Mighty Max for that. 3K all in all, Sprout. 11 on the board. And I believe that may be 6 rounds in a row, if I'm remembering correctly.
I mean, what's crazy as well, you look at the kills that have come out from Sprout, and it's nothing massive. Like, 11 kills up for Fafin, 12 and 13 for Dennis and Diha. When you look at that, you don't think it's an 11-2 scoreline, but the reason why the kills are so low, Jay, is how many times Endpoint has just been saving. Dennis doesn't even AWP, man! It's so frustrating to watch, because I know, like, obviously both of us being from the UK, like, we want to see Endpoint succeed in this best of 3, but they're just getting absolutely slapped at the moment, Jay.
It is very disheartening, I feel like.
On their own map pick as well.
Yeah, this team has shown so much potential, and right now none of that is being demonstrated here on the server. 5-on-4, Dennis getting the opening pick, a good sort of, you know, spawn off the back of the T-spawn area. He's peeking in, shutting out Thomas. And peeking right back out again to the default positions here. This CT side have to spread their forces 2-2. Again, leaving short and mid basically mostly undefended. I mean, they can still shut down the likes of, you know, still shut down players coming out on the back of, like, Crucial's position. 45 seconds to the clock, and the T-side do look to stack up here and make their way into the A-bomb site.
Oh, Surreal. He's quite aggressive. D-Hut, I mean, the crosshair placement is honestly ridiculous. D-Hut has been so impressive so far today. These entry frags from him, lurking, entering, he can do it all.
5-on-3 situation. They've left Crucial in the back over towards Car. He will try and contest at this moment, but Farman's got that kill pretty easy. Forcing him around that corner, forcing the frag, forcing a 2-on-5 situation in the post plant. Robin will be able to get 1 good pick on Dia and a secondary kill. 3rd frag found for him. He's found himself a bit more, but if he gets his 4th kill, that alone would be very insane, let alone setting up the potential for the opportunity of a 1v5 clutch for all intents and purposes. He's spotted out there towards Cart. Dennis swings him. He does get shut out in the end. So 3 kills to his name. And 12 to Sprout. 10 rounds in deficit as we go into round 15. The last round of the half. Can Endpoint do something to recover the tattered pieces of their CT side?
Unfortunately, it's a round that they don't have the best of buys to work with. 3 AWPs on 10. I mean, why not? They've got so much money to work with. Let's see if they find an opener. No smoke even to cross for the first player, but they are not going to get tagged down. So at least they survived that opening exchange. But Speedy just spamming through the mid doors. Robin! Oh my goodness, that 2nd kill took him so long to find.
4 versus 3 scenario, so Endpoint might have a bit of a chance. AWP gets taken out, so that's Farvan and Dia, the last 2 players standing up here for the Sprout side. The flashes and smokes coming in will try and deny everything that they can. Farvan is naded out by Robin, and now it all leads to Dia. So 4 kills for Robin in this particular case. And Endpoint has somehow managed to pull together a 3rd at the end of the half. And Robin will get his ace at the very least. I would have been a bit more excited for it if it had been a climactic end to what would have been a good half. But again, as I was mentioning before, it's basically a recovery of this half and an opportunity to try and, you know, an opportunity to buy themselves a tiny amount of breathing room going into this 2nd half.
Yeah, Jay mentioned in the pregame the fact that these 2 teams faced off against each other in the Home Sweet Home event. Now, that was a 2-0 victory for Endpoint on Dust2 and Train. They won Dust2 16-10 with 8 rounds on both the CT and the T side. Endpoint this time around, about 4 weeks later, Jay, only managing 3 in the first half on the CTC defense.
And I mean, that's the key thing you mentioned, you know, like it's only been a few weeks since we saw that series and since we last saw Dust2 being played out. And you know, I just don't know what else to say, to be honest. Like, I kind of hope that there would be a bit more of a hope in this one, but just that few rounds on CT's side, when really, as you mentioned, you know, the number of CT rounds that they had on that original map was really the main thing that sort of gave them the opportunity to turn it around against Sprout and bring it as close as they did. You know, 16-10, and it was a victory as well for that Endpoint side. So their T side, they did do pretty well on, but they gotta make sure they do just as well and then some. I feel like they want to have a chance of taking this map pick away from them against Sprout. 12-3 on the board, and the pistols will come out. Robin's got the P250, a flash smoke for him, double flash and smoke for Mighty Max in towards the longhouse against Sprout, who don't have a defuse kit. They've got an incendiary and flash on Spiddy, so already used the incendiary to try and deny some early B presence.
And at the moment for Sprout, it's quite a heavy sort of mid setup coming out. We're already seeing Dennis start to press up from top mid. The information's given up, and all Dia needs to do with Fafin, try and deny as much presence as possible. Try and slow down the teams as they continue their way to the A-bomb site.
There's a kill for Surreal, Farman, first casualty of the half. Snatchy returns frags all the same. We've got Dia as well towards Gandalf. I don't think he was spotted despite his peek away. And Mighty Max for the second player. Going to check around the back of Blue Box, find Dennis, and does shut him down. But it doesn't force a rotation. Instead, Speedy's going to press forward, spot out two, take them down of their own right. Back to a 3-on-2, trying to make it one as he spots the last two players of the T side. And now Sprout have the bomb site control and the bomb control. And Speedy's fed 2 more kills to his name. 4 frags all in all. And Sprout will get away with a pistol, one that Endpoint really couldn't have afforded to lose.
Wow, that's to think as well. They were able to bring that back. Things were looking pretty good from Endpoint. They had that advantage, the 4-on-3, and unfortunately, no bomb plant going down either. But you kind of you respect the force buy because they don't have a lot of rounds to work with.
Yeah, scouts on 2, Max in for Thomas, the Eagles in on Robin and Mighty Max as well. And of course, this force buy needs to come in, because Endpoint, like, they don't have another choice. They can't save. I mean, I guess they could save and try and go a 14-3 comeback, but even that's just so unlikely. So ideally, they need to stop Sprout from making their way up from here. Smoke down, nade to respond.
Oh, that's big.
It does get taken out by Thomas on the entries, though, so at least they find that much. The bomb plant can get secured, but 4 versus 4, and they're so heavily tagged up.
Another HE to come out from Fafin. Dia playing through the short face, the scout as well from Fafin. Going to be able to connect onto Mighty Max. And like you said, Jay, the low HP players are sure to get mopped up by these rifles and the SMGs. And so far, it looks to be relatively easy days. Only a single player goes down. At least Endpoint get a bomb plant. At least there's a positive sort of silver lining to come out of this round. But you look at the scoreboard, and that's certainly not a silver lining.
I mean, considering the fact they also just went into that round with a force buy. So that bomb plant bonus is not going to give them enough to get them the to get them the full-blown rifle round that they would have wanted to. If they had managed to somehow get that together on the on an eco round, then sure. But they're not even going to bother going for this. They actually want to try play for overtime, which is, I mean, it's gutsy. I'll give them that. Like, you know, I haven't seen it done many times before at all. I can't deny I have seen my 12-3 comebacks in my time casting Counter-Strike, but not many at all.
What we did see, I suppose, yesterday was the 5-15 down Heretics comeback, but
that's true.
This is a big stretch, a big stretch indeed, and I suppose the caliber of these two teams a little bit different between the comeback of Heretics, but that is a good opening. Surreal's going to be able to take down one of the CT players. And rather than committing to the B bomb side, looks like Surreal just wants to try and fake for a little bit more while the short pressure comes through.
Endpoint, I found the opener, and they may find their way onto the A bomb site. Robin's going to find a second kill. Surreal. Okay, I don't know where this round has just come from, but it's going the way of Endpoint. Farman and Snatchy, last 2 players left. There's rifles they can recover. What happened there?
Wow, and that turned around pretty quickly. And to think that wasn't even the force buy investment. Okay, something that Endpoint can work with now. Something that they can be happy about, Jay.
I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Because they got their first pick, and then they somehow managed to decimate everybody just like that. And it is, as you mentioned, not a force buy round. It's an important round, though, from Endpoint, and that's the main thing. Denying that map point for Sprout. They do get away with 2 rifles, though, so I'm imagining that there may well be a force buy up ahead of us here. Indeed, it looks like there will be.
An Endpoint, they need to make sure that they're converting this round. They need to get some momentum together. Even if they're not looking to win this game, even if they say, you know what, let's just try and get up to double digits, it gives them some confidence going into the second map, because it is going to be difficult to come back and take a victory. There's no doubt about it. Oh, Fafford letting them go, and he gets 2 easy kills, and the response from Sprout is immediate. How does he even find 1 there?
It doesn't matter at the end of the day. He's found 1, and that's what's important. Crucial is the only man left, and he will be left to an ill-gotten fate. Map point for Sprouts, and off the back of that half buy into the full buy round, Endpoint will have nothing to work with being decimated like that, and, well, it shows in the buy up here. 2 Scouts, 1 AK, 1 Deagle, 1 Mac-10. And essentially not enough to work with when it comes to making something work here with a force buy scenario. And we'll see a bit of aggression coming in from Robin, but the CTs have met him with 3 more players out here, and instant shutdown, not even wasting a single second opening up this round.
And they take complete control out from Long as well for the CT, so they can bring a player back to the A bomb site, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Play 2 over to the bomb site. Dia as well throwing that AK or that M4 away, which makes it a little bit more difficult on top of Blue. But Endpoint, how much more can they realistically do, Jay?
Don't think a whole lot here as the Tunnels player falls next, and Crucial and Thomas, last 2 players up to face up here. They will make their way into the B bomb site. Might catch off a frag, but I don't think they can get this bomb, and I don't think that they'll do much from here. Good shot from the ending off Thomas, and Crucial will fall to the hands of Father. What a dominating way to start things off. Endpoint's map pick as well.